Hey, so this is to answer the question, how much faith is enough faith? I'm answering this question for Betsidi, who answered this. A really beautiful question, and I think that it's a very common one as well. You know, let me start in Galatians. Galatians 3, verses 7 and 9 say this. Know then that it is those of faith who are the sons of Abraham. Verse 9, so then those who are of faith are blessed along with the man of faith. And I think what's interesting as far as it relates to the question, how much faith is enough? How do I know that I'm really doing enough in the eyes of God to be accepted by him, to be valid before him? Is that Galatians specifically doesn't mention how much. And the Bible doesn't, specifically because I think we only get that question from our modern economy. I think we only get that question from living where we live in time and geographically. I think we only ask that question because in the Western world, everything is about how much, right? Really, everything has a price. You can walk up to a restaurant in New York City that's fully booked, all the reservations, but you can be like, but I got $200 cash. I'm gonna stuff in your pocket. You can find a table for me, right? And they'll find a table for you. You can pay to have concierge healthcare. You can pay to put an advertisement on somebody's forehead. You can pay for someone to wait in line for you somewhere for hours. You can pay them to do that so that you don't have to wait. You can go about your business and then come when it's time to get into the thing or the place. Everything has a price. And so for us, it's always a matter of how much. It's not a matter of if I can, but a matter of how much do I need to spend to go to that country, to do that thing? How much time do I need to spend to get that job, to earn that degree? How much love do I need to give to receive love back from my romantic interests, right? It's always a matter of how much, because everything is commodified. And so then naturally we bring that into our relationship with God. We then believe, okay, we hear, all right, I need to have faith. I just need to have faith. Okay, now if I have faith, how much faith do I need then, right? That's our natural progression. How much faith do I need to be accepted by God, to be acceptable before God? And I think, again, that question only comes from living where we live in the time that we live it. And it's not a helpful question in our relationship with God because it's not one worth trying to answer. Because it's not about how much faith we have, but it's about the object of our faith. It's about what we're placing our faith in. So it's not a matter of how much, but on whom. Not a matter of how much faith we have, but on whom are we placing our faith? And are we placing our faith in someone that is immovable and unshakable, like Jesus is? And so I think that is the biggest thing. And also to define faith, because I should have did this in the beginning, but to define faith, faith is confidence in the character of Jesus. Simply put, faith is confidence in the character of Jesus, and to be saved or to be justified simply means that God calls you valid. So when you have confidence in the character of Jesus, it's really just that you have finally realized that in Jesus, God calls you valid. Because if you want to know the steps to becoming a Christian, here they are. There's 2 steps to becoming a Christian, and that's it. Step number 1, God calls you valid in Jesus Christ. Step number 2, you finally believe it. That's it. That is the beginning. Your walk with God doesn't end there, but that is it. Those are the requirements. In Jesus, God already calls you valid. And step 2, you finally believe it. That's it. At the moment you finally believe that God calls you valid in Jesus Christ, that is enough. It's not about how much faith you grow in. Right? The Bible also talks about the faith of a mustard seed. Even if you have what you would think is the smallest faith among us, in the right object, that is God, that is enough. That is enough. And God calls you valid. God calls you son. God calls you daughter.